I have an official correction to make. Last episode, I offhandedly, while trying to segue into another topic, said that I had never seen a video game movie.
Oh, nice.
I forgot that I have watched the entire Resident Evil series, the original Doom, which stars The Rock, all three Tomb Raider movies, both Silent Hills, and Prince of Persia.
Okay, so you forgot you'd seen basically all the video game movies.
Yes. But I have not seen Mortal Kombat.
I didn't know that Prince of Persia was a video game.
It's not actually... Wait, what?
It's a video game movie.
Yes, it's a video game franchise. That's where Assassin's Creed came from.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It was originally a spin-off, and then they said, F it, make it its own thing.
Really?
Mega Chad move.
What the hell? I didn't know that.
You're not a gamer.
Well, no, I'm really not. I mean, I play Minecraft and I do some COD, but like that's it. I'm more of a
He's
artist.
not an epic gamer.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Nice.
More of a normie gamer.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
So welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. Notice how I could say all three descriptors.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I'm your host, Big Slimmin, with my co-hosts, Beard Long Schlong and AAA.
That's not funny.
You
take that back right now.
I'm never going to take that back.
It was about 4:45 this morning, 5 degrees, and my car didn't start. And I had to get to work, so...
Did you get to work?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I live with several coworkers.
Oh, nice.
We have separate rooms, allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, considering you guys took about 0.3 seconds after I smashed a deer with my car to start making jokes, deal with it.
That's true. That's true.
Not the first time he smashed a deer.
I remember when I was 10, my mom literally smacked the snot out of a deer
Nice.
with her car, and he's just laying his face on the windshield, hung out, the snot over it. I was like, wow, that's something. That's probably why.
I really want to go
So, yes, let's go from dead deer to news.
So have an article from comicbook.com, quote, DC's publishing plans changed up considerably in 2020, including the dissolving of the planned 5G initiative. Though that's not the only series that experienced a major shift. The Earth One line, a reimagining of DC's iconic heroes that exist out of continuity, also experienced a shift, specifically the Aquaman Earth One book by Francis Manapul that was announced back in 2015. According to the Aquaverse, which I believe is a Aquaman-based website or YouTube channel or something, Manapul is no longer exclusively working with DC, and combined with the lack of any news on the book, it would seem Aquaman Earth One is effectively canceled, end quote. I think I'm the only one who's sad about this.
I have not read any of the Earth One stuff, so
It's okay not to have Moist Man Earth One.
I want Moist Man. I like Earth One and I like Moist Man.
That's fine.
Fine.
I didn't like Earth One Wonder Woman.
I think you will like Earth One Batman.
Well, yeah, probably.
Earth One Superman, I think you will actually like, because it's a little edgelord, just a little.
I don't know, because I don't really entirely like my
sprinkle.
Superman as edgelord.
It's like
The most edgelord, if you
it's
can even
not
call it
really
edgelord,
Yeah,
is Zack Snyder.
think Zack Snyder with an extra 15% edge.
Okay.
It's a little edgelord.
All right.
Have another article from comicbook.com. The season 2 finale of The Mandalorian featured not only a number of characters who had appeared earlier in the season, but also came with the surprise reveal of Luke Skywalker, though fans couldn't help but wonder why the Mandalorian Axe Woves was absent from that final episode, with star Katie Sackhoff noting there was a good reason for his absence, although she didn't reveal the reason. Quote, "There's a reason. It's just one of those things where I don't know if that story is something I'm supposed to tell, so he's just not there," end quote. So we had mentioned this, I think, the week after the finale. We were kind of just like, wait, what the f***? That was weird.
Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was a family, something to do with family.
No, it sounds like she's saying story reasons wise. It was in the middle of an interview. They're like, why wasn't he there? And she's like, there's a reason. I just don't think I can tell you.
Oh, so let's do with Star Wars?
Yes.
I was with Colin. I took it as just personal reasons, but I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah, the rest of the interview didn't really make it clear, so it might just be me. It feels like if it was a personal thing, it wouldn't have been asked by the interviewer, because usually the questions are pre-approved by the interviewee.
Well, even if that question did get through, she would probably say, "Oh, personal reason."
I guess.
I feel like it would be like personal. Just
I'm
no
kind
matter
of
how you
disappointed
say
I
it.
didn't like quadruple fact check myself. I'm a little disappointed in my journalistic skills.
Me too. Do better.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
Following the conclusion of Marvel's current King in Black crossover, writer Donny Cates and artist Ryan Stegman will conclude their run on Venom with Venom number 200 in April. Big sad.
So where's Donny Cates going to go after that?
He didn't really say anything in particular. He, I believe, is still going to be working with Marvel here and there. I definitely follow him on Twitter a lot. It just seems like he's like with Jason Aaron. He's kind of done with having a large thing for the moment. Same thing with Scott Snyder. He's done with DC for a long time as of right now, just because he's tired and wants
Good
to
for
do
him.
something else. So
I understand.
I'm wondering how this is going to go like afterwards, because it's like those three. So you have Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns over on the DC side, and then on the Marvel side you have Donny Cates and Jason Aaron, and they're kind of all pretty close to being done with like the major events that they're doing, and most of them have said they want to move on to other things, whether it be for personal stuff or independent comics or whatever. So I'm wondering what the next big wave of shit is going to be. But it'd be cool if we didn't have a wave of new stuff for a while. I'd be pretty down. Can we just ride out the massive waves for a while?
I do really like having self-contained smaller stories.
Yeah.
Those, I actually appreciate those way more than these like long-waited like stories. Like, even though I haven't even got into metal or any of that type, it's like
It's a bit exhausting.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting, because I don't really want to get into just that. Like the most I did was like Hellboy, I think.
I think something that is just interesting is the Venom run is ending with something. I'm not going to say what it is, but I have bumped in here and there, and I know of the current thing that like kind of just happened in King in Black is status quo changing, so that's kind of cool. Like
What kind of status
stuff?
quo would you not rather not?
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
All right, let's just keep it at
Yeah,
that,
but
then.
like they're both on both from both publishers, they're actually changing status quo with the latest couple of events, and that's kind of impressive to me.
Yep.
And then news that broke this morning, Zack Snyder released the first 3 official posters for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
Labeled Fallen, Risen, and Reborn, with the official release date of March 18th, 2021, which is a Thursday. And the HBO Max Twitter confirmed it is coming out as a film. So my pants got really tight, and I screamed a lot this morning when I found out. Jacob, have you seen the sexy posters?
Really early this morning when you were drooling over them, but I forgot them already. Let me pull them up.
Fair enough.
I do really like the Reborn one.
Yes.
The one with the
They're
film.
all 3 of them are very meta.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
I mean, the first one seems not too meta.
But it is, because if you follow the narrative of the 3 posters, it's the fall of the theatrical cut, then it's the fans picking up the flag, and then it's what we're actually
Well, yeah, I
getting.
see that, but like the first one could just be regular. Just could be regular one anyway.
It's a busted up rock.
Yeah, basically.
Very sexy rock.
Oh, yes. We know we love our rocks. You know I love my rocks because, Mike Mignola just draws rocks.
He does.
Yes.
The Risen, the one with the flag, looks a lot like Death of Superman's cover to me.
Yes.
That is actually my current phone wallpaper as well. I need a life.
I'm shocked.
You kind of do.
Shooketh. That's the end of the news.
Yay.
Yeah.
No CW news this week? The frig.
I mean, there's stuff from like Titans and junk, but honestly, none of it really seemed worth discussing because none of us really care.
Well, except for that
I know.
we have now a Tim Drake and a
Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon was like a month ago.
You
It's
mentioned
just-
it last week and said we don't care, so that's why we don't cover it. So
pretty much.
Oh,
It was-
if it's like
It was a
new
joke.
series, then that's worth mentioning. Or if it's like Batman is dead, maybe that. But like beyond that, I don't think any of us care.
no.
I mean, I guess I kind of.
So WandaVision episode 4. Jacob, what do you think?
It was interesting. It felt almost like a different kind of show.
Mhm.
Like it didn't follow the sitcom points at all. It felt more like what I picture Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would look like if I had ever watched that show.
A little bit.
Yeah, it is following Sword the whole time and is based on all the outside characters, and it answers or solidifies our questions and theories about what is really going on in the show.
Mhm.
Yeah. Something that
So I'm pretty happy that most of our guesses last week turned out to be true. We have an idea of what we're talking about, so that made me feel good inside.
fair. I am slightly disappointed that the man in the beekeeper suit is not Hive. That's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But that was far-fetched.
A little bit.
I was
Not
reaching.
really.
But I have to say so the episode was called we interrupt your programming or something like that. I like the fact that it was just a full episode of interlude and then recap up to where we were at the end of episode 3.
Yep.
I thought that was kind of nice.
I kind of didn't like that, though.
Really?
I mean, I kind of did because I don't know what her name is, but she was in Thor.
Darcy.
Yeah, I like Darcy as a
I
character.
actually-
And also I like Woo. I like Woo a lot.
That's what I was gonna say was I like Kat Dennings. I didn't like Darcy very much in the first 2 Thor movies. She was fine, but like I like her a lot more.
That was
now.
like
She's
my
being
middle school
written
crush, dude.
fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's being written a little differently. Same traits, but a lot more toned down, in my opinion.
Right. She was
Well,
very
yeah, man,
much
that's
just the
couple years.
stereotypical comedy break.
Oh my gosh, they stole my iPod.
Right. In
Yeah.
the original Thor movies. And in this one, she's like actually her own character a little bit.
Yeah,
So
but it still maintained a similar personality like that. And also, I'm
Where's
with
my
you. I do
coffee?
like Jimmy Woo like a lot.
I like it.
Hey, he's just
He reminds me of you.
thanks. I don't know how to take that. I didn't think about that at all.
I don't know. I just thought you. Dork. Just police dork.
Thanks.
That's you.
Okay.
wait, with a tight ass or no?
I didn't look at his ass, but like Spencer.
What are you even doing with your life?
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm not the one that looks at asses. You'd have to talk to my girlfriend, all right?
Google Jimmy Woo's ass right now. I want pictures. I'm
Woo's
just
ass.
kidding. I
I'm
was
not
only kidding.
I'm not. I want to compare asses right now. I bet Spencer's got a better dumper than he does.
Why am I the one who gets sexualized on this show?
I did like the end of our episode. I didn't. I wasn't really intrigued with this episode to the point where like I was actually doing some chores in my room while watching it until it got to the part where Geraldine was thrown out of the force field,
Yeet.
and we got to see more of Wanda.
Fair. I did like
And
that we got
Vision.
to see the entirety of that exchange. And yes,
Yes.
that shot of Vision
That scared me a bit.
that was genuinely like, oh, that's creepy as f-.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
So that helped me put words to what we've been calling spooky. It's like what they have been doing with like everything feeling all the feel good sitcom feels vibes, and then the sudden like on a switch spook, and then back to the sitcom vibes. It's basically a jump scare
In a way, yeah.
any horror movie, but
It's just
they're-
by the contrast. Because like the creepy things
Right.
aren't that creepy. Like
right,
it's still, like,
exactly.
the
If
show
it-
is still rated PG somehow. Like, but it's just because of the sharp contrast from what we've had.
Exactly.
It seems so much worse.
So
if it had been, actually scary visuals with it, they would be called jump scares, but they're not. They're
Yep.
just weird tonal shifts that happen very, very quickly. So it's like a slow-mo jump scare.
So Wanda is our protagonist and antagonist.
see,
But we do have a glimpse of her questioning herself, because we all know that Vision's not alive. And when you see Vision during that end where he switches back to normal Vision rather than a corpse, he has uncertainty in his eyes, and he's like, we need to talk about this, and she's like, oh, what do you mean, darling? And he's got this face, and at the very end of the episode he stares at the camera.
yeah. And
I like that because she knows what she's doing is in the wrong by doing that. That's her subconscious right there.
I did enjoy the fact that it was like when she threw Geraldine out the house and we actually saw her visually just yeeted through a bunch of houses.
We actually got to see her real power rather than like the
right
sitcom
instead of
witch
the
powers.
Right. So the fact we actually saw her go, oh shit, I just did that, and then just immediately cover it up and pretend like nothing happened was somewhat unsettling. Just the fact that like she knows whatever's going on, whether how much of it is her under her control or conscious or not, she knows that something she's doing is wrong, and she is hiding like all the stuff. Like she is literally just puppeteering a corpse. That's creepy. And she knows it, but she's gonna continue pretending she's not.
And the question is, what are the kids now? Because in the comics, what the kids are is
demons.
Yeah, they're demons.
They're Satan's arms. Yep. See, that is something that is interesting. Is I think that is where the show is going. Is the something else is clearly involved because her magic, or what's really going to end up being mutant abilities at some point or another, still has the red appearance to it. We still know what she can do. Something is helping her because she would not be the one making that weird force field. That is clearly technology based, probably.
Yeah, it does seem
like that, and it's just
based.
random stuff is just like appearing in their hands and like all that sort of stuff. She's not doing that. Something is helping her do it, whether she knows it or not. Because like that's not within the scope of her powers.
Like something's up is going on, and then
so something is manipulating her to somehow have kids with something that's not even alive. So it's just basically her impregnating herself somehow.
Yep. Well,
So
I mean, she's done it in the comics.
this is some weird magic and I like it.
Yes.
But also sword. I wouldn't want to say impressed, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I'm like with Jacob, as someone who did watch and enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I do like that kind of mildly silly, just, government people doing government stuff.
It kind of cracked me up. The very first shot of the sword base, the perimeter is in the shape of a shield.
Yeah. Yes, that was funny.
One thing I want to touch on is the beginning of the episode. I really like when we get to see those glimpses of people coming back from the blip.
That was
really good because I never even thought about that, like what it looked like on that side of people coming back. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is so. Where do you even start with someone?
Like we saw.
Where do you even start with trying to tell someone that you've been gone for 5 years?
Right, because we saw it in Far From Home, and it was played comedically. It's just kids are appearing out of nowhere in the gymnasium. Oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Right.
So
somehow, and then we saw it clear, obviously at the end of Endgame. It was just like, Doctor Strange got us caught up. We're good. So like actually seeing it in a different setting, I thought that was really good. And I like something I'd mentioned about Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the fact that it appears like they're actually shooting on location a lot more now. Visually, for something that is still boring of like hospital, government facility, it still looks better than it used to by a decent margin. It's not like it's visually exciting. It's just, it doesn't look like a set. It actually looks like people walking through a real building to do real things. And that just makes it more enjoyable to sit through the slightly more boring things. Something I thought was kind of weird, which I don't think anybody else cares about. It sounds like S.W.O.R.D. is actually different from S.H.I.E.L.D. Like S.W.O.R.D. was founded at a different time by Monica Rambeau's mother, Maria, at a similar time to S.H.I.E.L.D., but they were done differently. And I just thought that was kind of interesting. I wonder how that relationship will go, because it seems like, again, based on something from Far From Home, Nick Fury is the director of S.W.O.R.D. now.
Oh,
because he's out in space somewhere. Hence why Hence the guy that we see, I don't remember his name, but the guy we see in this is acting director. So it's just I'm curious how they're doing that, because it's not like the comics, and thusly it's different, and I'm interested. But nobody else is gonna care. That's just
I don't really care about S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know.
So since our last episode, I was trying to figure out what 80s sitcom they could possibly do. Ooh. And the very obvious answer would be Full House.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Which stars Elizabeth Olsen's two older sisters.
Oh, my word. That's funny.
Yeah, we're kind of dumb. I would have my gut says that's in the 90s, but it's not.
So it's not.
That's just because I'm a young boy.
Are we done with WandaVision?
I think so. That was a slightly longer episode than the first 3, which was cool. It was a
Yeah.
whole 30 minutes instead of 22.
Right. And it still felt like it went really, really fast.
Yeah, a lot did happen, but it didn't feel like it was like zoom. I just thought it was funny how like they were even getting invested in the sitcom themselves while watching it. That was kind of funny. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, they have kids. So Jacob, what have you been up to?
Every freaking time I have
Fine, Colin, speak.
Yeah,
Only
I'm ready. I'm
2
ready.
points,
Wow,
you choose me to start.
Colin's ready for once.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of him.
So recently I watched Mob Psycho 100 Part 1 on HBO Max. Of course, I actually have some beef with HBO Max. Their anime section is annoying because there's more than one season to some of them. They only give you the first season because it's from Crunchyroll. They want you to go to Crunchyroll. It's basically an advertisement.
That's rough.
And so I watched the first season of Mob Psycho 100, and
Isn't Crunchyroll free to use?
no, you have to pay.
I think it was for a little while there.
It was until it got popular.
Oh.
But publisher is Bones. The release date was July 12th, 2016. The director is Yuzuru Takikawa. I'm going to pronounce that wrong. But my summary is I thought it was quite entertaining. I thought it was genuinely funny. The art style was weird. It was not horny at all. Like literally, the first time you see a female, she's god awful ugly, like
Good.
disgusting.
Good.
Our main character's nickname is Mob, and he has like this master called his name's like Reagan or whatever, and they're psychics. It's about psychics, but they kind of have more telekinetic powers, and it's just Mob doing these adventures with Reagan, and then you find out that Reagan isn't actually a psychic, he's a fake, but like he pretends to like be one, and Mob is the best.
I am only the true psychic around here.
Yeah, so like they find like spirits, and Mob's like, whoa, can't you feel that, master? He's like, no, I can't. They must be low-level spirits. It's like he can't see them because they're shit spirits. No, that's not how it works. But Mob pretends. He's like, yeah, like he talks to other psychics every now and then, and Mob's like, yeah, I can't really feel his power, but that's probably because I'm lower level. Even though Mob is one of the only like person in existence right now that has like the power he has, and he can't like control his powers at times if he gets emotional. It's called Mob Psycho 100 because there's always this like whenever something emotional happens to Mob, it stops and it has the screen where it goes like 20%, 15, 4%, whatever, like till explosion. And then Mob gets like crazy
Anger,
beats everyone up. Like it's kind of like One Punch Man.
I still like One Punch Man, so I'm interested.
So there was probably only 2 seconds worth of big horny, but it was squashed immediately once you saw the face of the female, and she looked like really gross, and she had a deep voice. She's like, what are you doing, you pervert? And that was it.
Good, horny bad.
And most characters are pretty gross.
Sweet.
So
I'm gonna like this.
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. So Jacob, what have you been doing?
I read Daredevil 2019 to present, issues number 6 through 20. I talked about it last week. Kingpin is the mayor of the town.
You forgot where it was set for a minute, didn't you?
Yep.
New York, my dude.
Listen, it's been a long ass day.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you do have a long ass because it's just your legs.
I don't think that's how asses work. But
Yes, it
anyway.
is.
But they kind of do, though. Have you ever seen like a really long ass?
Kingpin is the mayor of New York
He's got big
in
boobs.
this run, and he decides he's gonna go. He says he's going straight, but he's really not. He's
But
just
really bisexual.
running a racket in a different, more legal way. So he calls all of his generals or whatever, his underlings of the underworld together and says, play nice and share like you have under me, but I quit. I'm no longer the kingpin.
Whack.
So he gives up the underworld to his subordinates.
I want to see a parody cover of Spider-Man No More, but Kingpin No More, just throwing a suit in the garbage can. Just for the lulz.
It's just his fat, long ass. It's just his naked body. It's just see his long ass. And he's just got this big shoulders. Ooh.
So this makes it
Bunk.
4 warring gangster families of the underworld trying to gain control. Matt Murdock gets very involved with one of the families, who's then bullied by a different gang lord who's trying to take all control. So Daredevil has to like protect one of the families and is trying to stop the villain from taking total control. And I didn't like how Matt Murdock got involved with one of the families, but it did make for a great story. The issues were just burning by.
It sounds like Matt Murdock needs a bonk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He usually does need a good bonk.
Mm-hmm.
Kingpin, in the racket that he's trying to run, meets people already running the same kind of racket, and they're way more powerful than he is. So he's out of his league, and he doesn't deal well with it. So that super powerful villain tries to burn Hell's Kitchen down to spite Kingpin. They're trying to kick him out of the game, basically. Be like, we can do this easy. So while Hell's Kitchen is burning down, the general population comes out wearing Daredevil masks and is like fighting off the villains, causing the city to burn.
Nice.
So that makes Daredevil realize, I wrote down his line here, Daredevil was a symbol. Matt tainted it by killing the guy in the first issue that I talked about last week. And they took it back. It was bigger than Matt, and it always was. They carried his burden, his sins. So it was really well brought together.
Nice.
Kingpin shows up to help fight the villains that were called in. Like,
I want to see Kingpin wearing a tiny little kid-sized Daredevil mask.
Kingpin and Daredevil fighting side by side was really weird. So there are 5 issues left of the run, but I only have 3 accessible to me right now. So I left it off at a good spot to take a break and wait for those other 2 to arrive.
Nice.
That's good.
So
Nice.
very, very good run.
I read Deceased.
All of it?
Okay.
No. So I read the initial 6-issue miniseries that came out in 2019. There is a companion spin-off miniseries. There is a sequel series and a spin-off to that series. And then I believe there's going to be one final main book and then a spin-off / companion piece for that. And I believe then it's done. I believe. Don't quote me. I have the other 2 books that haven't come out yet on pre-order, and I need to go buy Deceased Unkillables sometime shortly. But I'm extremely impressed, in all honesty. So I am not into zombies anymore. I'm not a 14-year-old edgelord.
Mhm.
Zombies are pretty boring to me at this point.
Yep.
Not that they're bad or anything, but I was, turn of the decade, I was all up in the zombie business because that was a big thing. And
Walking Dead.
yeah, I mean, I still like a lot of The Walking Dead, but mostly the comics. But like I initially, because I liked Marvel Zombies, a couple of the different runs, but those were very free of consequence. They were very isolated. It didn't really mean much when people got infected.
Yeah.
This is very different. I actually talked to Rich from Jetpack about it a good bit when I bought it initially, because at first I wasn't very interested. I said I'll get to it, but I finally got to it, and it's kind of like actually having the main continuity go to shit. Basically, it is zombies, but it's also not. They literally reference zombies in it, so basically kick off the plot. Justice League is doing Justice League things and kicking the shit out of Darkseid as usual, and then Darkseid is defeated, and then Boom Tubes back to Apocalypse, takes Cyborg with him. Desaad is around with people as he usually does, and then he puts the anti-life equation, like he takes the last bit of the anti-life equation that he needs, which is apparently a cyborg for whatever reason. And then he actually gets the anti-life equation, but instead of it being like mind control in the way that most interpretations of it as, it is corrupted kind of in a sense. So instead of it being zombies are here to eat things and to just survive or whatever, it's the anti-life equation is it's very literal. It's not just like the mind control interpretation we usually have. It's anti-life, so everything needs to die. So like the people, when they get infected, like Darkseid dies almost instantly, which is really cool. So you get infected by looking at a screen that's been infected, or by getting bitten or scratched or whatever, like having contaminated blood pass back and forth. So it's visually like zombies, and they are not conscious of their actions for most of the book. But it's basically zombies with a much better excuse. That I thought was pretty cool. So all the heroes have to destroy screens, and they have to literally take down the internet, which is cool. And then Superman is just running around with his X-ray vision on the whole time. Like Lois and his son John are like, how do you know you're not going to get infected? He's like, because I've been using X-ray vision the whole time once I figured out what it was. So he's not even like looking. He's just looking through people, and he can tell the difference between them because it's Superman. A ton of people die. Like, it's actually kind of heartbreaking.
This sounds really good, actually. I'm invested.
I'm very impressed, because usually it's like, zombies. It doesn't feel like Elseworld zombies. It's more like, this is normal continuity, and the Darkseid kind of won and has the anti-life equation.
Does it feel like it's Black Label? Because I feel like Elseworld and Black Label have totally different vibes, even though Black Label is literally just Elseworld.
Kinda. I don't know. See, that's the thing, is this is not in main continuity. It should be technically published under Black Label if DC followed their own rules, but they're not for whatever reason. But this is pretty graphic. Like, it's nothing obscene, but it is pretty bloody.
So what's it called? Just DC?
Deceased. It's a pun.
Deceased.
DCEAS.
I get it.
Yeah, I can spell.
I can catch on.
I'm really liking this. So like almost all of the main heroes that you'd think of die. So by the end of this book, it is mostly their kids and this new generation of people.
Kind of
Blue
feels
Beetle.
like it's Dark Apocalypse.
Blue Beetle's involved in this. I can't go over that.
Does he die?
I can't go over
Can't
that.
go over that.
Come on!
No, I want you to read it. All I know is there's
This is
some
big bad.
like, it leans very heavily into Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne, in my opinion, as well as some other side characters. I really liked it. The balance between the tone of zombies, but also like actually letting the deaths have weight. Like, some things happen to members of the Bat family, and the things Alfred has to do is like genuinely heartbreaking, and you feel it. And that is unexpected for a continuity we have no interest in. It just started in this first issue. It's like, there's this entire new thing. But because it's established as being so similar to what we're used to, it starts off very status quo. It feels like an extension of what could, in theory, happen. So it doesn't feel like, this new Batman I've never met before. It just feels like Batman that you've known for your entire life is, stuff. So I like it. I think the art matches the story very well. It can get pretty tattered and bloody. A couple of the character designs I thought were a little odd, but that's just opinion. So strong recommend. Zambies.
Nice.
Will borrow when I get home.
Yes.
Add it to the list.
Yes.
So I finished the 2015 run Vision today, right before Spencer got here. See, it was released November 4th, 2015. It was drawn by Gabriel Hernandez, Walta, and Michael. Sorry, it's cut out. Michael something.
Michael Chiklis.
Michael
Pena. Michael Keaton.
No.
That is a big chunky boy.
Michael Bolton.
Michael Walsh. Why couldn't I remember that?
That was close.
And it's written by Tom King.
Yes, the man who can seemingly do no wrong whenever he writes, just not Batman.
Yep. So I really, really enjoyed this. I've never cared for Vision until Age of Ultron. And from reading this Vision is like every other Vision that we've seen. but it's actually focused on Vision. One thing I noticed, the difference between this Vision and the one from the movies is the movie is way more human. That one's way more human, and the comics wants to be human. And so in this storyline, Vision is not with Wanda anymore, and he creates his own family using the brainwaves of Wanda, creating his wife, Virginia, and they create their 2 children, Viv, the older daughter, or actually they're twins, the daughter and the son, Vin. The daughter, of course, is like every other female teenager, likes this boy, and the son is actually into Shakespeare. He's into really obsessed with justice and judgment. And at first, it seems like with some of the covers, it seems like it's like, oh, Vision having a family, whatever, but like instantly, tone is creepy as hell. They're robots trying to be humans. The whole thing is Vision really constantly tells his family, be normal, be normal. We're normal. Let's be a normal family. Let's cook food and throw it out. Let's go to the diner with my half brother that came from Ultron, and let's order food, not get the food, but still pay for the bill. Normal.
Something that I thought about when I had read this a couple of years ago was it's like you encounter different sets of humans, like the neighbors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like this character has helped save the universe like a dozen times.
37
Everybody knows
times.
who he is.
That's what he says that a lot. He's like, I've saved the Earth 37 times. It's not an actual number, more of an estimate because there's been so many times.
Yeah, like he has always been protecting these people and making it so they can have their life, and they will not let him have his own.
Yep,
because
he's a robot.
Yeah,
he's synthetic humanoid. Basically, he became what everyone was scared of him to become, and it was well done. Like really, really good. The them wanting to be human and them like having such a lack of understanding of what it is to be human in every sentence or every conversation between each other, like the wife and the husband and the brother and the daughter. Every conversation was a dissection of humanity and literature and a dictionary, basically. Like they dissect words, what they mean, like the word nice and the word.
Don't you like it when your
kind.
dictionary and your encyclopedia and your thesaurus start talking to each other?
Yes, this was very nice for me. This was really, I loved this because of that dissection.
But what does nice actually mean?
You would think it would mean what you think, but it doesn't.
69 for 20.
Nice. Like, because she would keep saying they're nice, and then he would say no, it's kind, and then they'd have this like discussion of what it actually is. It was cool. They also went back and showed his relationship with Wanda, and then them having kids, and him saying that they're not real, and she's like, "You're not real." I was like, "Whoa!"
Oof.
And then they grow up. He basically dies, gets a new body. He basically tells the kids, "Yeah, I'm not your dad, and this is not my wife." You and Wanda's like, "Why could you do that?" It's like he wants to be human, but he still doesn't understand. No matter how much information you give this man, he won't know what it is to be human. He has no understanding because he knows so much. It's like having every single knowledge. It's like having the ability to do everything in the world and having all this knowledge, but you're almost paralyzed and you're not able to move.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dr. Manhattan. Kinda.
Yeah. No, he did give me a lot of Dr. Manhattan vibes, especially with the art. It kind of resembled Watchmen in some ways with how he was, because you know that part? Okay, so imagine Vision in the movies, right? He's got that like silver stuff around his head.
Yeah.
It's green in the comics,
right.
and it's like fabric. So he's actually fully red, like Tornado.
Yes.
Is it just Tornado? Is his name just Tornado in DC?
I think it depends on which.
Red Tornado. That's what it is.
Continuity you're in.
Okay, shut up. He basically just looks like Red Tornado with the yellow on his forehead.
Right.
It was kind of creepy at sometimes, but it was just
spook.
really good. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Much Android spooky.
It hit all the strong points for me. With talking about humanity and such. But yeah, 5 out of 5.
Nice.
Would recommend.
I think Jacob would like it.
I don't know.
It's a toss up, but I think I would lean more towards him liking it.
I think he would like it. Not why I would like it or you would like it, but I think he would like it.
Jacob would like it for the plots.
Yes, I think he
plot 1, plot 2, plot 3, plot 4.
I heard from a wise man. A wise man once said about this book, it's called. It's more or less tension. The book.
Nice.
It's
Interesting.
just. It's such a. Every single page is like, what the is happening? I'm scared. It's like watching WandaVision.
Full clench.
Why I watched Vision.
I think I read the first issue way back. Like, it was one of the first comics I ever read, and I had no idea what was going on and put it down. So
way back in
Jacob, you've become
2015.
notorious for being stupid when you started reading comics. It's like
Yeah.
every single thing you revisit, you're like, oh, this is actually good.
right.
I wasn't smart.
Well, I didn't know the context, so it's hard to jump into comics.
Nah, you were just dumb. You're not allowed to be naive and uneducated. You're just horrible. Jacob, what else have you been up to?
Blu-rays.
I read The Punisher Noir from 2009, all 4 issues, written by Frank Thierry and art by Antonio Fuso or Fusso. Fuso.
Fuso.
In the story, Frank is taught by his father how to defend himself and how to shoot and things like that. Very quickly, his dad is killed because they own a store, and in typical noir story fashion, a couple of gangsters come in and they're like, you need to buy protection.
I'm not buying no condoms.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
what size?
And that's what his dad says pretty much, so they kill him. So Frank grows up and seeks revenge on the killers. He takes the name The Punisher from an old-time radio show that was playing during his childhood, which kind of hit a note with me because my dad has listened to hundreds of thousands of hours of the freaking old-time radio.
Dude, those were sweet.
So I could picture what that sounded like very clearly in my head.
Nice.
So that was a good touch. But there's not much to this story.
I don't really feel like there ever really is with Punisher.
The Punisher is almost exactly the same. The date is the only thing really noir about this story. Set in the 20s or 30s, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds
So-
odd.
Mid-20s.
Like, because it has... It sounds odd, because, like, the thing with the Punisher is that he's a vet. Like, that is the most integral part of his persona. In any continuity, any time period, it's always... Man got screwed up during war, or more like realized he was screwed up during war.
Yeah.
Like, so it sounds odd to have kind of like a Batman / the Shadow type backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really much you can do with Punisher except
Yeah,
for
you
he,
can.
well, I mean, like, what I'm saying is, like, it's like watching Godzilla. You watch it for the action. It's not really plot heavy, I guess. You kind of just,
Wrong.
You have not read enough Punisher books.
I've read enough Punisher books.
Lies.
You need to
Sure.
read the Max run. That is the best. I have not found anything anywhere close to it.
All right.
There's a lot to be done with it, and you could keep it in the same time period as well, but just put him in like. You could go with him being slightly older and having served in World War I, or you could
They
just
did
go.
that.
Okay, so you didn't even mention it.
I cut him off.
It wasn't really much of anything.
That's
it was like
really
he
weird.
served in the war, or maybe it was his dad. I don't remember. like
That's weird.
it was so basic. There wasn't much to the story at all. He grows up, he kills the 3 people that murdered his dad. He's like, well, now what? And then there was something that was like, you should keep killing. And he's like, okay. And that was the end. Like,
that sounds honestly
like,
like the
there's
lamest
good
excuse
parts.
for a Punisher series. Like you
It-
could do a lot of
it
things with
was
that time
not very
period.
good.
That's rough.
The art was almost identical to the Spider-Man Noir in 2008, which I complained was pretty bland as well. It's just so basic. It's white on white. Not the art, but just the entire series was just meh.
Not stonks.
No.
Do you have any of the other noir books lined up to read?
I have the other Spider-Man Noir that's in between the two that we've read recently, but I haven't looked into others.
I'm honestly pretty interested in the X-Men ones because there's an X-Men one, there's a Wolverine one, I think a sequel to the Wolverine one. Iron Man is vaguely interesting, but I feel like it's just going to be steampunk, and that's cool, but like nothing else. But like the Wolverine one sounds interesting.
There's a Nick Fury one that I want to read, but it's in the Max series, so that's not on the Marvel app.
Oof, that's rough.
So Spencer, what else did you do this week?
I watched 3 separate thriller movies, and I'm going to do roulette on which one I talk about. Somebody pick a number between 1 and 3. 2.
1.
So that means I have to do 3. So I watched The Little Things, which came out yesterday. It is I'm just going to read the synopsis. Deke, a burnt-out Kern County, California deputy sheriff, teams up with Baxter, a crack LASD detective, to nab a serial killer. Deke's nose for the, quote, little things proves eerily accurate, but his willingness to circumvent the rules embroils Baxter in a soul-shattering dilemma. Meanwhile, Deke must wrestle with a dark secret from his past. Honestly, that synopsis is more interesting than this movie. So it was directed by John Lee Hancock, who honestly doesn't have a terribly interesting filmography, but it does star Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. This was one of my more anticipated movies of this year, and I'm a bit disappointed. It's
A leftover Dingleberry from 2020, I take it.
I don't remember if it was delayed or not, but if this was supposed to be a traditional January, this is a January release of crap. We just kind of need to get it out there. And it's not horrible. Like, I still kind of liked it, but think it has similar elements to Seven, one of the best thriller movies of all time.
Yep.
But it goes in a very different way for most of the details. It just has a similar framework. Like, you have the older cop who's done some things, is also black. That's just funny. Then you have this younger guy who has, I don't want to say more optimism, but like is just more green. And then you have the serial killer, and they all interact and they morally challenge each other. But beyond that, in the details, it's very different. The twist was unexpected, but it wasn't good, I guess is a decent way to put that. It surprised me, kind of, but it didn't prove to be very interesting or intriguing. It didn't make me think about a lot. I don't want to say confusion. It wasn't like out of left field. It was just, am I missing something? Was there a layer to this I didn't realize? Like, this is very thematically empty. And for a thriller movie, whereas the thriller movies really live on their theme and plotting, it's really not about what's going on. It's always about what's underneath it. There isn't much here to look into, and I don't like that. It was well paced and fairly tense, but it visually wasn't very exciting. The marketing, like the posters and the trailers, look so much better than this movie looks. It's fine. It's okay. It's solid directing. It's a bit choppy in the editing area, especially in the beginning part. But in the end, my Letterboxd review ends with the little things catch up to this movie, and it ends up being thematically messy at best. Like, just little details aren't there or are skimmed over, and they don't feel like you are given the opportunity to figure out where the movie's going. Like, it makes sense, but it's boring, so you don't think of it. So in that way, it's a twist. It's like it ends in a similar way to Seven. I don't want to say it's a Seven ripoff because it's really not a Seven ripoff. I can definitely tell that, but it just is like, what's the point of this twist? there isn't much of a point. It doesn't feel very thematically relevant, and it doesn't hammer home on the theme of like the little things or what get under your skin, the things that'll keep you up at night, the details you missed or the things you looked over. Like that, I think there's a lot of material to dig into, and I really don't feel like the movie did. Jared Leto steals the show though with his performance. They give him like a beer belly, they grease his hair up. He's weird and creepy, and I really like that. The performances are good, but just there isn't much here.
What do you think
Is
was
it
in the
based off of a
box?
book?
I don't believe so. I believe it's an original screenplay.
What do you think
Weird.
was in the box in 7?
I know what's in the box. That's not open for interpretation.
What's in the
Yeah,
box?
they literally show you. I
you do.
started the first time I watched that movie, I just hit play and it's got such a sudden opening. I was like, did I freaking start in the middle somewhere? So I
Yeah.
went back, like went back to the menu selection or the scene selection, and I started on 1 and it opened the same way. I'm like, that's freaking weird.
Yeah.
But then I
nope, original screenplay by the director, I believe. Director, producer, and writer.
What about it?
It's not based on a book or anything. It's just an original screenplay
Oh.
set in the 90s. I enjoyed it. It's just, I'm not waiting to watch it again. I'm curious if I did miss some things, if I blinked too hard or whatever, but it
Should I
didn't
check it
really.
out?
Huh?
The little things.
You might like it. I don't know. It's just there isn't.
I'll
Not
probably
nothing too
try it.
crazy. What do you give it? Like a 2 out of 5?
Out of 5, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Uh-huh.
It's like a 6. It's a good movie,
It's not
but that's
really-
it.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot special about it, in my opinion, other than the performances that are given. It just is very by the numbers, and also has a twist that isn't by the numbers, but it's by the numbers to have a twist. You know. There isn't just a lot to talk about, on all honesty, and that's kind of what's disappointing about it. Like if I talked about one of the other either of the other 2 movies I talked about, I could go on for a lot longer. We're not doing that. Colin, what have you been up to?
So I did watch a couple. I started a couple animes and I finished the anime, but I don't want to talk about the anime until I watch the other seasons, if there are. But so I'll tell you what I did today. I bought some manga to add to my collection because I only had Neon Genesis Evangelion. I got Mob Psycho 100, the first 6 issues out of 16, and I also bought Akira 1. I don't know what it's about. I know that Akira's good though, and I've been told by people
I've
that
seen an
Akira's-
anime. You haven't.
I have.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I haven't seen Akira. That's
really
that's
good.
classic. But I bought the manga because I want to start the manga,
I'm so proud of you.
and so I got Mob Psycho 100. I tried looking up online for cheaper deals, but like everyone sold out. Of course, I have to like the anime and the manga that you can't buy anywhere because everyone
Right.
else bought it, or it's not popular enough, so stores don't have it. But I went to Barnes & Noble, got the first 2. Then I went to Stairway to Heaven, and I got 3 and 4, talked to them for a little bit, talking about how my order is going for the first 5 mangas of Toradora. And they're really cool folk. I got another...
So is that Dora's Bible? Sorry, you don't understand.
I get what the
my
Torah is, you dumbass.
No.
You. I know what the Torah is.
But you didn't laugh.
And then I went to Jetpack and I got Akira #1, and I was surprised that they had Mob Psycho. They had Mob Psycho 100, and I got 5 and 6 there because they had one. Yeah, they had 1 through 6, and so I got their only 5 and 6.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, it was really good. Jetpack has
They just
they have a small selection for manga,
It's gotten
but
bigger over the
they
years.
they
for sure.
do. As a
They will buy anything you want them to buy. Though.
that's true.
You can order all the stuff.
I'll probably talk to them about Toradora as well.
Nice.
But yeah, they have for any of our local listeners, if we have any besides business casual, and if you're interested in manga, they have some popular series like Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia, and they actually have some of the Star Wars ones.
They do.
The new ones, not the old ones like I want.
Yeah.
I want the old ones.
Dude,
like,
those ones
I want
were
the Return
fun.
of the Jedi.
That was a really good one. In all honesty, I did really
Luke
like
looked
those.
badass in that.
Those are available at one of our local libraries. That's where I read those. I read those as a kid.
You read a manga.
I know, right? I have read maybe a total of 20.
Damn, that's more than
10
me.
Wow,
I've
really?
watched more animes than you, though.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Faux shizzle.
But yeah, it was a very productive day.
So, very, very, very quickly for our listeners. I ordered War of the Realms Omnibus on Amazon and it got canceled on me because they suddenly disappeared from the warehouse or something. So then I searched the entire internet and I could only find a box of 25 of them for $2,500 or something.
Oh, fuck.
And I chose not to do that. So
Good
I
idea.
found a magical corner, Books A Million. They had a limited, dang it, that was a breath. They had a limited stock. They said, don't come to the store, but order online and you'll get one. So I was like, freaking right. I want one. And I think it was a week later, I got an email saying, sucks to be you. Your order's been canceled for you. So I was convinced that this book did not exist until today. My dad stopped at Newbury Comics and asked them about it. And they said they have it on order, but it is not coming.
So
So,
basically, War of the Realms is
As-
the Xbox Series X of omnibuses right now.
as
You can't get Xbox
Spencer
Series X's anywhere.
suggested, it is probably a distributor issue, but it
Yeah.
would be freaking nice if there was something on the interwebs saying that.
Speaking of distributor problems, as of today, I finally got Dark Knight's Metal: The Resistance, because apparently with all of the issues with DC going away from Diamond as their distributor and then going back to Diamond, but because of their weird deals or something right now, the Diamond warehouses in the United States can't actually sell their stock, so you have to get it from the UK one, which is whack. So I had to wait like 6 weeks for this bloody book to come in. There was just a shipping delay and it got lost, along with some other things that I ordered from Jetpack. I ordered it and they threw it in one of their other orders. And I've been going in every week on the button, just like, is it here? Is it here? After every DC shipment comes in. And it finally came in today. And I got stupid excited because that means as of
He
tonight,
nutted his pants.
as of tonight/tomorrow, I can finally start reading freaking Metal. And then I'm
Nice.
going to finish it in 2 days.
So yeah,
Do you have to
if
finish it in 2 days?
Because I will. Because I want to read it all now.
Damn, you really don't have to.
Dude, I've been waiting for this since it came out originally. I wanted to buy it concurrently and I didn't.
You know what's funny?
You?
I'm the same way where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to read this. And then when I get it, I'm like, I'll wait a couple months.
Yeah, you literally are. You're like, awesome! And then you just
That's literally me
stick
with
your-
Moon Knight.
and
I
you just-
still haven't finished Volume 3.
And then you just stick your thumb up your ass and go, I'll spend another $400 before I actually read the book that cost me 10.
so, if you guys could please check with Jetpack to see if they have any on order for me,
Yes.
please, lovelies.
Of course.
Yes,
Well,
queen.
I mean, I'll say of course, but we all know Spencer's going to be the one to do it.
So we're going to jump into main topic time.
Nice.
Hellboy Short Story Omnibus 2.
All right, so the first one we have is the Hydra and the Lion. But basically, it's kind of just Hellboy fights a Hydra, three-headed Hydra, and he meets this kid that's trying to take a scale off of it. It's just another story.
I have a very interesting setup for notes for this book. I argue that this book should have been titled Hellboy's Wild Worldly Adventures because every single story has a place and a date setting for it. So I noted each story where it is and what year it is, and just a simple sentence of my thoughts on it. So this one is in Alaska in 1961, and I said that this is just a simple short story drawn by Mike using classic Greek mythology.
Yep.
So the second story is The Troll Witch. It is in Norway in 1963. And I said that this is a simple short story drawn by Mike using classic troll mythology. Like,
Nice. I did like this one a bit more than the first story, to be honest. I don't know if it's just the difference in bloody color that was chosen or whatever, or just the fact that the mythology is more interesting to me. But Hydras are really boring for me because I had an obsession with Hercules as a child. So I was yes,
Damn.
not just the Disney movie, but like all of the Hercules. So I'm just kind of tired of multi-headed things in life, to be honest.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Every time you see a politician speak to another one.
Yeah. Or they're like, have you tried that new Hydra soap? The mind controlling device.
That's true. We didn't have a commercial for this episode of WandaVision.
Well, I mean, we weren't in the sitcom format.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, those are.
I know. I'm just being goofy. Stop being logical, stupid. Confused ooga booga. The next short story is the Baba Yaga, or
The
I've
big
heard it.
boobied scary lady.
The Baba Yaga. I am not sure how to properly say it.
I usually say Baba Yaga, but
I say Baba Yaga.
you just say big titty goth girlfriend.
No big titty, no leg. Limp
Resident
Bizkit.
Evil 8. So clearly set in Russia in 1964.
It does not feature John Wick, sadly.
Unfortunately, it does feature the Baba Yaga, and it shows the consequences of Hellboy bothering her. He doesn't really beat her; she just gets away, but terrorizes the local Russian town because Hellboy pissed her off. So,
Yep, and well, he also shot her eye out.
yeah, whatever.
Mild inconvenience.
I mean,
That would piss
becomes
me
a
off, too.
That becomes a main thing in Hellboy 3.
This is true.
And,
The next short story is The Sleeping and the Dead,
I really like
set
this one.
in England in 1966
Just
with
like the
art
goth
by
girl.
Scott Hampton.
No, I don't just like the goth girl, Colin. I enjoyed the story, and I like the difference in art. I
This-
think it goes well with it.
Is amazing artwork.
I would not like this one as much if it was done by Mike. Take it like that.
Yep.
Bleh.
Huh. Yeah. You know, actually, I don't mind some of the art because it actually looks like it's penciled by Mike, but colored by someone else.
What are we gonna do with this kid? I just really like the soft appearance of it as a whole. I don't have the artistic vocabulary to describe how it feels.
The ghosts feel wraith-like. There's an airiness to the whole comic.
Yes.
The shadows are oppressive but still kind of thin. You can still see
Yes.
shapes in
It's
the
Kind of
dark.
a fog.
It's smuggy.
Yeah.
Like England.
Mm,
Haha.
yeah.
This is
Generic London joke and
one of my
pollution.
favorites.
Yeah.
I was
Definitely
mad
agreed.
about it. Meh.
Next is Heads, set in Japan in
Oh, I love
1967.
This is the best story in this book.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
How much, Colin, how much you want to bet that Jacob's favorite story is the one that you absolutely despise and pretend doesn't exist?
No,
Yeah, it probably is.
but we're getting there.
Okay,
Uh,
Heads is
art-
really good. I really like Mike drew like. Actually, wait, is this Mike?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It is Mike. I got confused.
I just found it very funny. Like, it's still kind of gross and creepy, but the heads are hilarious.
Yeah, they are. That's
They
what I
just
love.
talk mad shit.
Mm-hmm. You just see like bodies sitting down, hanging out, and the head's just like,
Let the
coming
bodies
for
hit the
you.
floor.
Yeah, they just look so funny.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
The bodies at the floor. Let the bodies at the floor. Let the bodies at the floor. Well,
Next
Fully
is Goodbye, Mr. Todd, set in Oregon in 1979.
I think it's pronounced oregano. Thank you very much. I know my United
it's actually
States.
called origami. You.
Of course, the
Apologies
weeb says that.
apologies to any listeners in Oregon. We love you. Your state is just boring.
Don't worry, we love your orgasms. We love your organs too. So.
Moving on from the Oregon jokes.
You little orgasms.
Oh
you.
man, we didn't even hit the Oregon Trail jokes. Anyway,
Yikes! Let's not.
you died of diphtheria.
Promiscuous?
Chlamydia.
This is a possession story.
I don't like possession stories.
Really?
I don't.
Dude, I love look at that. Look at the
I like-
thing coming out of his face. I love that.
I like the art. I don't like these stories. They're too unsettling for me.
Have you ever
I'm
watched,
a puss.
Have you ever watched Hereditary?
Yeah, I hate it.
I love that when she smashed her head repeatedly
Nope.
on the ceiling. I was like, what the I loved that. I love
All right.
possession stories.
So
too.
in this story, I really like how Hellboy dispenses of the possession thing, and it goes back into the corpse of whoever summoned it, and it like blows him up really, really big like a balloon, and then he explodes. And as pieces of him are flying around, Hellboy's like, you never see something like that coming. And that's pretty much the end. Like, he's so freaking blunt about what's happening in these stories.
He just has the dude's shirt stuck on him. Oh, I love that.
Hellboy just gives no shit.
Yeah,
Right.
I love him. I love him so much. He's
We
so...
know you love the red little demon man.
Oh, I love the Red Demon Man.
Next is the Varkolak. I think I'm saying that correctly. There's a funny asterisk or accent, I should say, over the A, the Verkolak. Set in Yorkshire of 1982. Hellboy is searching for a body, and it turns
Aren't we
into
all?
a big story that turns out to be a dream conjured by the body that he's about to kill. It's a vampire. So he wakes up and stabs the body through the box with the wooden stake, and that's pretty much the end of the story.
Stabby stab.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one wasn't terribly exciting for me.
Next is the Vampire of Prague, set in Prague in 1982, with art by P. Craig Russell. This is the third vampire story so far in this book.
Yeah, I don't like this one.
I mean,
This one is mentioned in book 4, Hellboy in Hell.
Yeah.
Something about he beats the guy at his own card game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good comedic story. It's just kind of
The art I don't like. I don't like the art at all.
There's a fight scene through it as they're playing cards, and I didn't understand how that was playing out. I was kind of confused by the action in this one.
magic. That's how.
That's stupid.
I agree.
Okay, so next is I wanted to mention that this was kind of close to Mike's artwork, I think, in that it includes a lot of statues in the art, which
In some
Mike
areas,
has a
yeah.
The
tendency to
colors
do.
are so bad.
I think
Yeah, the coloring is pretty
it's
rough.
a different coloring and it has ridiculously less shadow. But I don't think you're wrong.
There's like
as
no
like a
detail.
it has a similar type of panel layout and like architecture.
The backgrounds are so lazy. They're
And,
so lazy.
bro. At least they're not just a black background like half of what Mike does.
No. Okay, so hear me out. So with Mike's backgrounds, they're black, but you see lines.
I know.
You see detail. There's detail.
You
in
don't
there.
have to. I'm doing it to trigger you. My gosh.
The backgrounds are just color. It's like I'm reading. It's like I'm trying to reread Hellblazer Omnibus 2,
Oof.
and I can't even get through that still.
Rough.
The next story is The Bride of Hell, art by our favorite Richard Corbin, set in France in 1985.
I thought this was honestly one of his better pieces of work.
I agree.
I find it, in all honesty, I find it very odd how we just happen to coincidentally be talking a lot of trash about someone's art who's just passed. I don't have anything to say about it. I just find it odd that the two things lined up. and it feels weird.
It does feel weird.
So there is a twist in the story that I caught the hint to and actually stopped right there and went back and made sure it wasn't visible in past panels. And it's only hinted at the one time before it's revealed. So
Jacob figured out the twist.
I did.
I'm so proud of you.
But also, I think they could have shown it, one, more subtly, and two, more often to be more interwoven through the story.
I think he means interlinked.
Interlinked.
I did a lot of research on this one, actually, because the demon isn't unique to the story. It isn't just made up from these guys' minds. According to all-knowing, all-seeing Wikipedia, there are 3 main books not in the Bible where Asmodeus is talked about.
Yes. Have you read those?
No.
It's really freaking cool stuff to look into.
And also heresy. But anyway.
I mean, yes.
I actually
It's
do think
interesting.
that this was one of his better works. This is probably
It feels more
this is
polished.
one of the only good. This is okay. This is one of the only comics from this artist doing Hellboy that I actually enjoyed, because I feel like it got better. Like some of
It's a lot.
I'm gonna
less
call it
fun.
cinematography. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
That would be framing.
yes, the framing. Thank you. I'm a artist, but doesn't mean I know the terminology. I just know how to do it. The framing of how he has his characters set up are really nice.
I've always liked the framing. I think it's the much lower amount of graininess.
Mhm.
I don't like how a lot of his art comes across as very like what's the term? You know when you make lines out of dots?
Yep.
I cannot remember what it's called or how to pronounce it. It starts with P, but like that, it feels like that sometimes, and I don't like that at all for almost anything.
This story has a great joke in it. So the demon Asmodeus takes over for King Solomon for 3 years, I believe.
Yep.
And he's so tired of like dealing with laws and taxes and things that by the time Solomon comes back, he willingly gives the crown back. He's like, I don't want this crap. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah, I like that. And he goes out into the desert, finds people that he likes, has wives. Then we got the crusades going on. Wives get killed.
Oofda.
The next story is The Whittier Legacy, set in Providence, Rhode Island in 1985.
This one was actually my favorite.
Really?
This one was actually my favorite.
Huh.
I just love the old man.
You heard it here first, folks. Colin likes old men.
Yes, I do. MILFs and MILFs.
My notes say that it is a very funny short story, typical Mike Hellboy action.
I love how Hellboy just takes out this charm, throws it at the beast. It goes thunk, and then he goes back to normal, just like that. I love that.
It's
I
just
just-
so
I-
blunt.
I enjoy how most of the short stories are comedic in nature, compared not as a whole, but like compared to most of the primary stories where they can be funny. Most of them are not
Right.
comedic. Almost all the short stories are kind of for the lulls.
Yeah, and the old man just keeps like saying shit, and then Hellboy's like, "Hey, Emil, cut it out. You're making the dead people nervous." I love that.
So next up is Buster Oakley Gets His Wish by Kevin Nolan, also known as the alien one that Colin hates.
Also known as the worst Hellboy story ever.
I don't
This
disagree
one
with that at all, but I
is-
just think your whole "it's not written by Mike" is
It's
bullshit.
not. It's not.
How do you
This-
know what Mike writes better than Mike? Shut the f up,
I
you
know what he
idiot.
writes.
This one is set in Kansas in 1985. It is very, very colorful, which isn't necessarily a positive.
It's very for the lulls.
It has a good, weird feeling to it, but the ending makes the story feel like it didn't go anywhere. It's
I actually
just
like the ending compared to most of it. I like how the point is that humans stop trying to be gods. Stop f***ing around with this shit. You don't know what you're doing. Stop. But beyond that, I don't like any of it. It's just whack.
so. I think this one, I think the BPRD in general reminds me of my love for X-Files, but this one gets too close in that comparison.
Fair. Now all I can think of is that vine of the guy in the alien suit falling backwards on a treadmill and hitting the window. You remember that one, Colin?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
The next story is They That Go Down to the Sea in Ships with art by Jason Sean Alexander. It is set in Newburyport, Massachusetts in
Pirates.
1986 and
Pirates.
also somewhere in North Carolina of the same year.
Pirates. I'm into it. I like the art. It's gross. It's red. Pirates.
I like it. Pirates.
I like when it comes to a couple of topics, I don't have an in-depth articulate opinion. I just go, F it. There's a thing and I like it.
Yes.
So I wrote down that the art is a perfect example of dark pirate horror, kind of like the Black Freighter from
I was thinking
Watchmen.
that.
Yeah.
Very, very good short story.
The next one is A Christmas Underground.
Christmas.
Set in England in 1989.
Yeah, I like how Mike drew like the paintings within the comics. So I have this like internal problem, not a problem, but like a thought process of art within art. So like when you have a certain art style, do you draw paintings in a different art style, or would it be in the same? Because if you drew it in the same art style, technically in that art universe, isn't that realism?
It depends entirely on context.
So like if you draw realism within a like comics, like Mike Mignola. So Mike Mignola comic, all of it's Mike Mignola art.
I think the way
and
he
then
does
the
it
painting
is
is
usually the way to
real,
go.
like actual realism art. Is that not realism technically then?
It doesn't matter. It's really the point.
It kind
I
of doesn't.
like the way that
but
he
just
does it where
think
it's
about it.
very similar, but there's less shadow and it's more blocky, so it's clear that it's a different medium, and he just kind of leaves it there.
And well, also he adds more lines. He adds lines on top of the lines to make it look like drawn out lines. Oh, and the old lady sees Hellboy as Saint Nick.
I
Your
did
Father
like that.
Christmas.
I did like that a lot.
Oh, I love that.
This story, so we're 1, 2, 3, 4 stories away from the very, very end of reading the whole freaking series. And I finally realized it's interesting how Mike gives warnings, especially to Hellboy, in what's going to be the scary situation from inanimate objects. We've seen it from crows, mice, statues, and skeletons that utter usually like a one-word warning just to set the spooky scene as he's going to find the monster or whatever.
Yes.
So I would almost call it a trademark, but it doesn't happen in every story like a trademark does. So
Mainly if the trademark to Hellboy comic is crap.
yeah, right.
That's the trademark.
Son of a.
Yeah, or son of a.
All right, so the next story is Dr. Karp's Experiment, set in New York in 1991, and my notes say monkey.
Monkey.
Yes.
Go back, I want to be monkey.
Anybody have any extra details on that?
Big shock. Hellboy go blue. Monkey blood. Demon monkey blood.
Monkey.
Dead monkey.
Banana.
The end.
Hellboy meets King Kong / Donkey Kong. Next.
Next is The Ghoul, or Reflections on Death and the Poetry of Worms, set
I love
in
how
London
he does these titles.
in 1992.
I love how he does these titles. It's just The Ghoul or Reflections on Death and the Poetry of Worms. I love that.
I like it.
I just love long titles because it's kind of funny, but also sometimes like for songs or something, it's like it's its own line within the song.
In all honesty, it reminds me of the in canon name for Bilbo's book of The Hobbit. It's just like The Hobbit or There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Holiday. Like there's, I like how it's just, it reminds me of that. It gives me wholesome Hobbit feelings. Moving on.
So
I actually, so you both write poetry, and I have cursed poetry since junior high, and
It's 'cause you're stupid.
I actually liked this story quite a bit because of its
Wow.
inclusion of old school literature.
I think our baby boy just grew up a little bit.
He did grow up. He got his big old nipples on him.
Wow, I found classic poetry in a freaking comic book. I'm so adult now.
Hellboy does
But
a
you
lot of that.
appreciated it.
There,
Yeah.
That says something. You're
There's
usually
a-
like, nah. I
It's
don't like
set in a great world. The world explains the poetry. So I have a visual medium to finally understand the words.
Hellboy Mike has a knack for turning a whole poem into a comic. Like he's had comics, like comic issues where every single line, dialogue to the narration is like the poem.
Yes,
Right.
I do like that.
So it's like usually a poem for me is a freaking riddle, and I don't like figuring it out. But this freaking holds
What, you
my
don't like
hand and
getting all
explains
the
it to me.
You don't like getting all the Riddler trophies?
The Riddler I can figure out. Poetry I cannot.
you know what's funny? I never looked at poetry as a riddle to figure out. It's just an exception of the words.
Well,
and
if you have been
finding
it
gifted with
pleasurable.
different brain, that's how it is for most people.
I guess, yeah. But I did notice. So back onto that art, being different within the art, like paintings within the art. I realized that Hellboy actually does that, changes the art by making people puppets.
Yes, I love that.
I like that a lot, and he loves drawing puppets. Rocks and wood. That's what he's good at drawing. Rocks and wood.
Would explain why he's really good at drawing pirate shit.
Yeah.
So the second to last story is in the Chapel of Moloch,
Okay.
set
so
in Portugal in 1992.
I know I keep saying this. This is also one of my favorite Hellboy short
He
stories.
literally can't.
Really?
think anything.
It's so hard. This one and the guy with the old man. This one's really good because of the story. That one's really good because the old man's funny.
Oh my god.
So just like Spencer was saying with the possession stories, this one is super demonic in its nature, and this one actually made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's
bit.
good. Huh.
See, I don't want to say I have the opposite mind because this one's still got under my skin, but this one didn't bother me as deeply. I found it more enjoyable to read, but that's just me. But it
Also-
definitely is still run away.
It felt homey to me.
You have problems.
I do have problems.
There are several self-aware jokes in this one, and also Malak looks like the icon of sin. Prove me wrong.
True.
Okay, I know why it feels homey. It's a artist. It's about an artist, and he's just possessed, basically.
Yes.
That's probably why it feels homey.
Yes.
Homely.
Yes, my son.
Yes.
The
Oh,
last story is Macoma, set in New York City in 1993. Macoma, or A Tale Told by a Mummy in the New York City Explorers Club on August 16th, 1993.
I love that.
I really did not like how this was the last one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but it. Okay, this is my least favorite omnibus out of all 6 in total.
What?
Wait.
Yes.
Wait,
it
no.
has a couple of my favorite stories in it, but overall it's so up and down, and as a it averages out to be lower. And how the last couple stories in this book kind of just continue the thought of this book kind of ending on a thud.
See,
I
I'm
actually disagree with
completely
you.
opposite.
I think this
Book
was perfect.
3, The Wild Hunt, is my favorite, and this is my second favorite
Wow.
out of the whole series.
Weirdo? The correct answer is 4, 3, 1, 2, then the short stories.
4
I
still
actually-
doesn't tickle my fancy.
I think
You can go yourself.
I thought this last issue was actually perfect to leave off of because it's just a analogy or not an analogy, but it's like shadowing. It's foreshadow to the last Hellboy book.
It is, but why? Because the order most people are going to be reading this in is like we did, like the 4.
Yeah.
So what? You're backshadowing. It means nothing.
Well, you
If
just have
this
to
was-
read it right. You just have to read it right. It's your own fault. It was our fault. All right.
No, if it's being
No.
republished in omnibus form, then it doesn't make for good reading.
No.
If you had each individual story in little book formats, which I do think does look very cool on a shelf, and you interlaced all the short stories in their correct chronological order. That would make more sense. But that's not how the books are republished, which he does have complete control over. So thusly, this is meant to be a more complete way to read it.
I agree with you, but I also find ways to disagree with you, Spencer.
So,
You, Colin.
break you two up.
I don't want to break up. We're just having a petty argument.
I'm
This
just
isn't your
sucking his
business.
tit.
It's a lover's quarrel. Anyway, page 295. Please turn there
All right.
in your hymnals.
This is Colin's hymnal, unironically.
Shut the up.
The very last frame.
290 what? 6?
295.
5. All right.
The very last frame shows young Hellboy
It's
as
so cute.
7 to 10, I would guess. And it looks very, very much like that cover of the young Hellboy series that is about to start.
Yes.
So, is this story where that series is going to start? Maybe.
Perhaps.
I have not looked into that story at all, minus what we talked about when I brought it up in the news. So I have no idea.
When does it come out?
I just said I don't remember jack shit. Oh, please hit me harder with the Bible. Oh, ow.
One of the viewers to hear that.
Paperbacks hurt more than hardcovers. Prove me wrong.
You're right.
Because they slap. They don't hit.
Also, the
Slaps
hardcover
hurt.
has a little bit of a pithiness to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll absorb more. So, yes, overall, I really appreciate this book. It sounded like Colin did as well, and Spencer, not so much.
It's like it's fine. Like I said, there's a couple of stories I like. I like how I think there's more Mike stories in here than the first short story
Definitely.
omnibus. But
Yes.
I don't like Mike's short stories as much as Colin does. Don't kill me. Like
That's fine.
I mean, we
I
talked
just
about
like
that in the
short
last
stories in
one.
general.
I like the short stories. I don't like how a lot more of Mike's go back to familiar places, whereas
Mhm.
the point of the short stories is to expand the mythology and to bring in other cultures and different art styles. And a lot of Mike's go back to the same, basically just Eurocentric ones, and a lot of some stuff we've already seen with similar themes, and some of them are just, it's over now, moving on, and like they don't feel like a good length to enjoy,
I guess, yeah.
but
I don't know.
it just feels like if you're reading the 6 in the order we did, it feels like it's ending on a weird thud.
Yeah,
Compared to like even the first short story omnibus, I think would be better. I think that these really should have just been released in like 2 or 3 dummy thick hardcover omnibuses. I know I've talked about with both you guys how I like that they're paperback omnibuses and they're only $25 a piece and they're a good size, but intermingle them in the correct chronological order and just have it be like 2 really big hardcovers
Interlinked.
interlinked.
All right, so
I think everyone should read it as Omnibus 1 and 2, then short stories 1 and 2, then go to 3, and then go and finish with 4.
Based.
wow. I believe that is the end of the show.
It's his. So
What are we reading next week?
we're not reading at all. We're gonna be
What?
some normies, and we're gonna watch a movie.
Ooh, what
Ah.
watching?
We are watching Man of Steel.
Ooh!
Colin, that's how I sound on the inside.
Henry Cavill, Big Daddy.
Please stop thirsting.
We were just talking about Henry Cavill before the
Stop
recording.
thirsting.
What? It's
Bonk,
not
bonk, bonk,
gay.
bonk.
It's not gay. It's just like it's like I want to be friends with him, and I want him to be like that protective older cousin.
So we're talking about Man of Steel next week.
Yep.
I'm trying to contain all my excitement and let Colin take it right now. So if you've listened all the way through, please leave us a comment and let us know which of the short stories in this omnibus you like the most, which one you like the least, and why is it the one with the aliens? Because it's kind of shit.
Leave us a comment on how excited you are to see our hairy Superman, our hairy chest boy.
No.
Yes.
No. Well,
love
there'll be a
the same
question
chest.
next week. There's just a question. now.
No. Just tell us how excited you are.
Stop. Bonk. So please follow us on social media. We have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are all very active. Send us an email at dimecomicbros@gmail.com. Send us a meme, a topic suggestion, criticism, anything. Spam me. I don't care. I read everything.
I texted Spencer a meme earlier in the episode, and he still hasn't responded to me because he's been paying attention to the show, unlike me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Some of us put our phones on silent, put them away when we were done reading our notes, and have been actually listening to each other talk. Like we're actually.
I was
having a
listening.
conversation.
I can read memes and listen at the same time.
You know what? You both need to shut up. Both bonk. Bonk, bonk.
Acceptable. No, we have to give our Patreon shout out.
Oh,
to
right.
Business Casual. We are legally, contractually obligated to do it. So we do need to give a shout out to our one patron, Business Casual. I happen to be wearing a flannel and denim.
I happen to be wearing my favorite Thrasher hoodie, denim jeans, and I am wearing socks, finally.
I am also wearing socks.
Wow.
Jacob, are you wearing socks?
I am never not wearing socks.
What?
Ew.
Thank you.
You should wear less.
I
Also,
even
just
wear them
less.
in the shower. That's how they get washed.
Yikes. Ew, wet socks. So obviously we have a Patreon. If you want to go check it out at patreon.com/dimecomicbros, we have all sorts of different tiers. Includes voting on topics, getting personalized art, getting some sketches, lots of stickers, as well as getting shouted out on different episodes. Just go check it out.
Oh,
but also, we're broke. We get it. But just check it out. There's also some weird behind-the-scenes photos on there every once in a while. Some stuff that doesn't get posted to regular social media.
Some chastity belt type of thing. Some kinky stuff you might be missing.
Maybe.
Oh, that's the OnlyFans.
No, the Patreon is the OnlyFans.
That's the only.
Oh,
Next, we're going to have a long session of me just screaming Zack Snyder into a camera. And
That's also going to be on our OnlyFans channel.
Yes.
So keep watch for that.
so maybe as my donation to the OnlyFans, I should like take my shirt off and face away from the camera and have my hair down. Just
Oh man! Oh man! Don't put that! I imagined you and I imagined everything, the pose, the colors of the blankets, the window. Oh my word, don't do that to me.
Jacob, please do.
I'm gonna draw you like that. You know what?
Dude,
you know what's gonna happen now?
No.
I'm gonna have to draw pinups of you, me, and and Jacob now.
I'm putting that on your agenda. We need all three of those. We need those.
I don't want to draw.
But you
I
kind of
want
just
to cry.
cry while you draw, slave. Yeah, so we are available on all audio platforms. Wherever you're listening, you can listen to us there. We also have a YouTube channel. Check it out. We got YouTube stuff. I think I'm out of things to say.
and stuff in stuff.
We do have stuff and stuff.
Well,
Sometimes we put the stuff on stuff.
Yep. I think that's time for us to leave. So a bonk to you and a bonk to me. We'll see you next week.
Bonk.
There we go.
Bonk, 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 bonk. I swear I'm gonna come back from my trip absolutely stacked because of all the Bernie Sanders memes I'm seeing. Just do like one push-up every Bernie Sanders meme.
Nice.
I saw someone make a knitted Bernie Sanders
Yes,
plushie, and I
that's
want
funny.
it so bad. It goes behind, so there's less cords. Doesn't matter anyway. Welcome to the Dime Bros.
Colin, stop trying to do intros and take your water off the table, please.
Test it more.
Hi. How are you?
It's about the same.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Could you please stop? Could you just not go there?
Cannot sleep. Cannot think tonight.
What is wrong with you?
When I'm without you. And I'm so sorry.
Could you stop?
No,
Please stop.
I'm already so tired.
Yep.
I feel like I have COVID, but I don't. I'm just
Make sure you
sick.
lick me just in case.
That's wiggity whack, yo.
Stop it! We were just recently. Stop it! How about this?
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
I think he's happy now.
Nice cock.
You're so hard to please.
Nice
know.
cock. These are such bad screenshots. Why does he always get me at the worst time?
Because you look like a Chad.
I do.
A clip to be used out of context somewhere that I didn't mention. I like the fact that Monica Rambeau is honestly already more interesting than Carol Danvers as a whole. In 20 minutes of total screen time, collectively over 4 episodes. We barely know her name. We have minimal backstory, but in all honesty, it's been written better. And this isn't just because I have a hate boner for Captain Marvel. I'm fairly neutral on it. I'm kind of don't like the character very much. Not with how they're doing it anyway. So that's cool.
Females are simps. It's how it is.
Yes. Jacob, you better edit that out. Put the phone down. Put the phone down.
Get out of here. Ah! I'll lick your arm.
How about no?
I'll lick your arm,
I
Daddy.
will f***ing choke you, and you won't
Ooh.
like it.
What?
I'm sick.
Bonk.
Okay, sorry. Let me just grab it real quick. Just to see it.
Oh, yeah. Grab it.
I'm going to grab you. Can we take a break for a minute? I need to blow my nose.
Yeah, blow that nose.
Oh, blow it. I bet it's so wet inside.
I'm sure. It sounds more like he's got like a plug shoved up in there. At the
Typical.
moment. It's got a diamond on the end of it, obviously.
That's my birthstone.
Aw. Wow, you're a basic bitch.
What's your birthstone? Freaking.
I don't follow basic white bitch things, so I don't remember.
Come on.
Give me a second to Google it. I know what Grace's is. It's like your star sign. It changes depending on the year. I don't think it actually does.
I don't think so, no.
Garnet is January. February is amethyst. March is aquamarine. April is a diamond. So if you're born in April, you're a dumb basic bitch. Emerald is May. June is an alexandrite. July is a ruby. August is a peridot. September is a sapphire. October is a pink tourmaline. I don't. I'm reading off my phone. November is topaz. I get the ugliest one.
What do I have?
You were born in September.
Like Bloodstone, right?
Sapphire.
December.
You were.
Do you say
Oh.
September?
I forgot. You get a nice, pretty blue stone. F you. I get
No.
color,
Zircon is cheaply made. It's like one of the
but it looks
least
pretty,
expensive. It looks like crap.
dude. I am an orange rock. It looks like rust
Mine's the most expensive.
Oh, look at you.
based. I mean, every list is slightly different, but whatever. Nobody gives a shit. Moving away from dumb basic bitch things.
Sorry, I'm just an Aries.
You're such a Scorpio,
There's
Jacob.
so many people that are like that on TikTok. I have to like say not interested, and it keeps just coming up. There's so many of them.
There's too many dumb basic white bitches in the world.
Yep.
I have no idea of star signs. I've never followed that crap.
Do you know what you are?
I've been told once or twice. I think I'm a Taurus.
Do you know what you are?
I don't remember because I'm born on the one of those the date periods that's between two things and it changes based on the year. I don't remember because I don't
Nice.
care.
Well, I'm a
Yeah, same.
Sagittarius.
Good for you.
I was obsessed with that a little bit. Not because
Ew.
star sign, but because Beyblades.
Fair.
Dude, I just knew what it was because Beyblades were like constellations. Yes, that's the word. Constellations. They're
Let
constellations.
her rip.
And yeah, mine was a Sagittarius, so I had always had like a Sagittarius head.
Probably my least favorite August Burns Red CD. Constellations.
Yeah, I'm not. I agree with you on that a little bit, honestly.
I've been listening to Chevelle.
Ooh,
Their newest album. They came out with a single.
nice.
It's really good.
I just got a few CDs from Face Down because they had a sale. I paid like $10 for
really?
like 5 of them.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm trying not to buy CDs. I'm trying not to buy stuff except for
Yeah, same,
books. Except for comics and manga. That's all I've been trying to buy.
I'm
That's
so
like
proud of you.
So I started. I'm not skipping you. This is just gonna be cut. I started
Four.
Grow with the Dragon tattoo.
Oh, I was going to
The
watch
Fincher
that.
one, the one with Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Oh, 007.
Yes, such a good one. That's
So-
a hard movie to watch.
Really?
I liked it so much I stopped watching it and I'm gonna read the book first.
Ooh,
Oh.
it's a good series of books.
Like
Very different
Aren't they
than the movies.
comics?
No,
I think
Might be
they
an
are actually.
adaptation of them, but like they're books.
Started out as books. Yep.
The Books a Million down here has a huge frigging wall of manga.
Damn, that's
So if you
that's
want,
so
send me a
much.
list. I can try to find something for you.
I think I will. I think I will.
In
if you don't
exchange for
mind.
sexual favors.
Of course,
Mm.
dude.
Of course, that's how it
Of
always
course, anything
happens.
for my daddy. Okay.
None of the, like they're not interwoven with each other. There's just the usual like semi-relevant details because it's Star Wars.
So-
You could have had a joke there. You just didn't use it.
Interlinked. They are not. Interlinked. They are
You
not.
two wouldn't shut up so I could do it.
Sorry.
Wow.
Cut all that out. Jacob, go.
Nah, it's all right.
Ah, come on.
I need to be bonked.
Bonk.
Thank you.